remember. I remember because it was a time before telephones, before radios, when a boat was the only car and the river was the only road. Who am I? I answer to many things. I have many names. Many call me simply the moon, but me, I like Kokomana Wipisim, Grandmother Moon. That name suits me just fine.
I love that we jump off from a place that's historically accurate and precise, but that we allow our work to evolve into a fictional place so that we can tell the stories that we want to tell, that we feel need to be told and that young people need to hear.
Got some Ailey sketches here. We've gone and purchased a really beautiful jacket. I had a lot of fun making patches for her, thinking through what kind of patches she would have on her jacket. I also traced around them to make them more woodlandy, so they have this kind of like, I printed them off on my computer, so I was able to like just add a hint that like this is Moon telling the story, so that the whole world has this filter of like a pop of color, like a Morisot painting or an Adojig painting might have. Waupun, we've got some really exciting stuff happening with her outfit, or their outfits. Moon. This is going incredible. I found some really beautiful denim, which we're going to build her culotte pants out of. And the inside is this really great green color. And there's a fiber artist who's going to make this take on the feeling of a sunset. So you can see here, it's kind of like a universe. Her pants will have this kind of a bit of fiber art on them. We're going to flick some bleach on them to kind of resemble stars.
We have 150 years of history telling us that they can't reconcile in that time period, that they didn't, that historically they couldn't. So what do we do? And that's sort of when Act 3 became in the present. So what can we do now to reconcile what has happened for hundreds and hundreds of years in Canada?
We built this space that is kind of like what I refer to as a moon lodge, which feels really weighted culturally, and it's not really meant to reference anything other than those images of kind of the home, and really finding what the parallels are, because they're so strong in the script between what was going on over there across the ocean and what was happening here on Turtle Island. And when those cultures met, I mean, we all know the results of that meeting, some of which are beautiful, many of which are devastating and destructive. And so to see this work for young people that really was intended to talk about what that relationship has been and is and can be. This, of course, is our Big Moon central shadow puppetry screen. So also 8 feet in diameter, which is quite nice and large for a puppetry surface. And it's about a foot off the ground just to get it above the height of this riser system here. And as you know well, when we're in those various community scenarios, like a school or a community hall or wherever we might be, if we don't have elevated seating, we need to just kind of lift stuff up a little bit so that it can be seen over the heads of the 1,000 kids sitting in front of you, because we get this kind of like storybook quality that we can layer into live action as well, and it creates a really lovely world to be in. And we're obviously really conscious of it being able to travel to schools and auditoriums and main stage proscenium theaters. Like it's, so it sets up easily, it can work in all kinds of different lighting environments and so on. So really trying to factor all those considerations in right from the start.
I was totally blown away getting into the room with all of those other talented folks and seeing the design, seeing the costume, seeing the puppet, seeing like all of the pieces that were already starting to come into a physical manifestation was very exciting, very moving. Yeah, I was weepy in places and laughing out loud and wishing that they could have heard my experience of the story.
We can project a background world which fills that whole circle, and then within that background we animate our shadow puppets in a traditional way. In this central area is where the shadow puppets are animated, and in fact because of this projection version that we're doing, we could also, in the space between this puppetry surface and the screen itself, there's room for live action. So actual onstage characters can physically step into this shadow puppetry world.
I'm so excited to see it on a stage or to see it like in a gym and to see the reaction that the audience has toward it.
It just feels like a duty when you're working with children and young people and they're developing a sense of justice, that if you just show the problem and don't even hint at the possibility that they can find a way forward, that we need to own that we don't know the way forward, but maybe you can find a way forward. That's part of it. So that I was really appreciative that whole journey was reflected in the creation of this piece.